Financial Intelligence Moment.
This is Financial Intelligence Moment. The difference between the rich and the poor is knowledge. Financial Intelligence Moment is designed to expose some of the financial mistakes that has kept the poor poorer. The poor desires financial security, while the rich takes risk with financial intelligence to achieve financial freedom. The poor in most cases has just one means of income, while the rich has multiple streams of income. The question is, do you spend more than you earn?
This is Financial Intelligence Moment.
Today, we will be talking about understanding money and the principle of sachetization. Now, if this sounds like what you want to listen to, stick around because I have loads of valuable information to dish out to you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, wherever you are. My name remains Charles Eze, the FBI coach. FBI stands for Financial and Business Intelligence Coach. You're welcome to Grace Impact Radio, where word, music, and entertainment lives. Here we give it to you hot and spicy. We bring it out from the heavens oven, where we change lives, we change destiny. All right, today I'll be talking about understanding money. Now, I've had a lot of people who come to me to say, Charles, you talk about language of money. What is this language of money? Can you please tell us what this language of money is all about? Now, this gives birth to what I'll be sharing with you today. Understanding money and the principle of sachetization. First, you need to understand that if you don't know where you are going, if you don't know where you are going, or if you don't know what you are looking for, you will not know when you find it. If you don't know where you are going, you won't know when you get to that destination. If you don't know what you are looking for, you won't know when you find it. So if you don't understand the language of money, you won't know when you make this money. You won't know when you are wasting money. You won't know when you are investing money. You need to have this understanding. But before we get into the business of the day, first I want to make you to understand that the major missing link in the mindset of people is the fact that they don't know what money really is. That's the major missing link, and that is why they make mistake. They mistake currency for money. People mistake currency for money, or they mistake currency for they mistake money for card, paper card, wallets, and all that. Now, first, your currency is not money. Your credit card is not money. Your ATM card is not money. Your checkbook is not money. Now, this may sound like a shocking statement to some persons, but you need to open your mind so you can allow the illumination of what I'll be sharing with you descend right in your mind. If paper currency, the dollars, the naira, the pound sterling, if it is money, then what do you call what existed before money? It's a rhetorical question. What do you call the credit card or the ATM card, which is plastic? Do you call it money? Of course, it's not money. If the credit card or the ATM card is money, why do you think you are poor? Why do you think you are broke? But you have your ATM card with you. You have your credit card with you. So why do you think you don't have money? Are you getting what I'm sharing with you? Are you understanding what I'm sharing with you? Just use the card and get anything you want and see if you will succeed. Can you see where I'm driving to? If your checkbook is money, why not just write a check to cover all your expenses, to cover all what you need or what you want? You see, the world was created by God without any paper, paper currency. God created the world without any checkbook, without any credit card or ATM card. So can we say that our Creator was broke or poor? Yet he had everything in creation. The answer is no. Now, to fully understand what money really is, we need to travel back in time. We need to understand the concept of money. How did money originated? When was this thing we call money? When did it start? So we need to travel back in time, starting from the era of the caveman era, the hunter era. You know, at this stage of evolution, people hardly wear clothes. There was no shopping mall. There were no cars. They don't pay bills. No educational system. Everyone was the same, on the same level, irrespective of their age, their sex, their color. The land was useless to them. They were only interested on the things that moved upon the surface of the earth, which are animals. That was what interests them most. Are you getting value from what I'm sharing with you? So, they were interested on the things that moved on the surface of the earth. Their land was useless because they were yet to discover the potentials that was in the land. At that time, what they focused on was energy and skill to hunt. That was their core value, their core competence, I beg your pardon. It was just energy to hunt and the skill to hunt. So we can translate energy to be hard work, then skill to be smart work in our today's world. Okay, so that was that about the caveman era. Then it gradually evolved to the agrarian age, which is the farming era. At this point, they started having some awareness of life. You know, there were things that are better thought than caught, or there were things that are better learned than observed. That was what they worked on. There are things that are better caught than thought. Now, you need to catch the vision. You need to catch the rema. You know, the people that are in the farming era were more interested on the things that are not just on the surface of the ground, but under the ground. They started making, living from the crops, the things they plant in the ground. And the funniest part of it is that it gave birth to different things. It gave birth to class system. And at this stage, the class system became an issue where people started claiming ownership of land. You know, the indigenes, they started saying, okay, this is my land. That was what gave birth to what we call royal estate back then, which is translated to real estate today. People started owning land, government owned land, royalties own land. Okay, it gave birth to polygamy. The size of your plantation determines your affluence. It meant that the more hands were needed on the farm, so to handle the expanse of their plantation, they needed to marry more wives. Now, polygamy was more of an economic strategy and not an act of love or responsibility back in the days. It was just an economic strategy to have, because when a man marries more wives, gives birth to more children, they will have more people to work in their farm. And the size of their farm determines their wealth, their affluence. Okay, that also gave birth to slave trade. Realizing they could not birth the workers they needed for their farm, so the elites among them came up with another business policy, which was to buy other people's children to work on their farm, which is what we call slave. The farming era came with its ups and downs. Now that gave birth to the era of trade by barter. Trade by barter. At this stage, money evolved because their skill and energy had started producing more, and they needed to survive. They needed more things. So money evolved from energy and skill to trade by barter. Some of us knew trade by barter in school, not by experience. And so for this reason, a lot of people there's this mass ignorance of the true identity of money. Even in the days of trade by barter, people never got something for nothing. They must trade something for something. If you need cassava and if you need a basket of cassava and you have a basket of tomato, if the other person needs your basket of tomato, you simply exchange what you have with what the person needs. So you could exchange your produce for another produce. You could exchange your land for a produce, or produce for land. You could exchange your produce for a slave, or exchange land for slave. So that was how they carried out their economic activities back then. Are you getting value from what I'm sharing with you today? So we are still on how money evolved to what we have today. We are trying to understand money. Then from there we'll move to the understanding the principle of sachetization. I'll tell you what the principle of sachetization simply means. But trade by barter had its own limitations. Okay, now that gradually it had limitation of mobility, it had limitation of storage. Which other limitation does it have? So there are quite a few limitations here and there which the trade by barter era had. Okay. So if I need goods and I have a piece of land, I'll go to the market or go to where they carry out this trade by barter, look for someone who has goods that will give me land the next year. The person will have to come back to inspect my land. It was quite cumbersome. So that gave birth to the industrial age. The industrial age gave the discoveries that sparked up a revolution that dwarfed the farming era was the industrial age. It turned everything around. So we started seeing companies that sprang up. For example, companies like Apple, companies producing apple juice, they produce tomato puree. So they get things from the farm produce, they take it to the factory, they convert it into something that can be transported to another nation. That's when people go to the farm, they harvest their cocoa and they convert it into chocolates. They convert it into coffee. Are you getting what I'm sharing with you? Okay. Then this industrial age also gave birth to the school system. Okay. Because people needed to be trained how to handle machines, how to work in the factories. So the school system was introduced. Some slaves from the plantations were trained to become slaves in the factory through the system called school. And that also gave birth to job and salary system. So you don't have to just keep working in this factory. You need to be paid salary. That was so as people were being moved from farming to industrial slaves. That's what I call it, or that's what it was known. Farming to industrial labor, jobs and salary were introduced. It was introduced to help people come out, to help people live a better life. And the sense of security, the sense of value sets in. So they will now tell you, go to school, get good grades, come out of school, get a job with a security. So at this stage, people are promised salaries for decades as long as they stay civil as civil servants, public servants or otherwise. And they also promise retirement packages at 65, and you get what is called monthly pension. So a lot of packages. Now, I also need to tell you at this point, there is high income job and there is low income job. If you have a means of income, I tell people you don't need to depend only on that means of income. Either you have a high income job or a low income job. You don't have to depend only on one source of income, because depending on only one source of income is suicide. The table, the chairs which we sit on, the table has 4 legs. Now somebody said to me, but the table in my house has only 1 leg. And the question I asked him was, I'm not disputing the fact that the table in your house has 1 leg, but what type of base does it have? The guy laughed. Why? Because the table needs to be balanced. The one-legged table has a very wide base. So the question is, what type of base do you have? What type of financial base do you have? How wide is your financial base? Okay, so you don't have to depend only on that one source of income. Now we are still trying to understand the concept of money. Okay, now the industrial age transformed destinies, transformed lives, gave birth to so many industries we have today. Now, there's a documentary which I encourage everyone to watch. You can even find it on YouTube, The Men Who Built America. It's a very interesting series. It's a very interesting documentary. The Men Who Built America is a documentary that talked about the industrial age. When the industrial era started, these were the 5 men who built the economy of America. We're talking about Vanderbilt, we have JP Morgan, we have John D. Rockefeller, we have Ford, and what's the 5th one? Andrew Carnegie. Vanderbilt built the railways, Andrew Carnegie built steel, JP Morgan built the banking industry we have today, the Wall Street. John D. Rockefeller built the Standard Oil, we give birth to Chevron and the oil companies we have today, and Ford gave birth to the transport company. Now, it's a very interesting documentary you need to watch. There's so much to learn from it. You can't finish it in one day. It's a very long series. Just go to YouTube and type The Men Who Built America and watch the entire series. Now, this is what I advise. When you're watching this series, just get a paper and pen and learn. There are things you will learn from there. Okay, so this gave birth to the industrial era. Paper currency is local, but money is universal. What we call money we use in Nigeria is different from what is being used in South Africa, and it's also different from what is used in the United Kingdom. Each country have their own currency, but we call all of them money. Money is universal. What is money? Money simply means value. Money is a means of exchange. The paper currency is not money. The paper currency is not money. If I bring Tanzanian shillings to Nigeria, it becomes useless. If I bring the Nigerian naira and take it to the United Kingdom, I can't spend it on the streets of London. It is useless. But it's worth, maybe that money is worth millions in my country, Nigeria, but it's useless on the streets of London, because for them it is not money as long as you cannot spend it in their market. money is value. Money is universal, while currency is what? Geographically located. Currency is limited. So that gave birth to the fourth revolution, which is the technology and information age. The industrial age is no doubt dead, kind of, partially, not fully. It's partially dead, even though many are still living in the era, thinking, oh, this is where we have to live in. Just take a look at what is going on in the pension world today. If your basic salary cannot take care of you now, you think your pension will take care of you? Are you aware that your pension is 1/3 of your basic? If it cannot take care, if $100 cannot take care of you today, you think $30 will take care of you by the time you retire? My dear friend, please, we need to wake up. So at this stage, let me give you the definitions of money based on my knowledge and my understanding. Money is any medium of exchange. Whatever you have that you can exchange for what you need is money, and not necessarily paper currency or the cards. Remembering energy, skill, and trade by barter at all times. You need to remember this. Energy, skill. Remember the cavemen, their money then was energy and skill. Then we have trade by barter. If you remember this, it will teach you the real essence of money. Money is trade by barter. Whenever you need anything from now, you need to change your mind, change your paradigm, change your way of thinking of how to get money. Paper currency, you can acquire it. So you need to change your paradigm. Whatever I need, you are not limited by that paper currency. If you are hungry right now, what you need is not money. What you need is food. If you need mobility, what you need is not money. What you need is a car. If you need a shelter over your head, what you need is not money. What you need is what? A house. Now, if you have this understanding, it will generate creativity in you to start thinking, how can I generate what I need to acquire this car? What problems can I solve that will bring the resources to buy this car, to buy this house? Are you getting value from what I'm saying? I want you to take your mind off the normal thing, the status quo. The day I discovered this light, and that was the day I liberated myself from the limitation of money. I think before the COVID, I did a video on my YouTube. You can check my YouTube, FBI Coach. You'll find a video. I talked about money. Before the COVID, little did I know the world was going to shut down for some months. I was talking about vulcanizers. I was talking about there are certain trades that will go extinct. There are certain trades that will go extinct. My SUV, I had automatic car jack. When I have a flat tire, I don't need a vulcanizer to come and fix it up for me. All I need to do is to turn on the ignition. I plug in the lighter point. I plug in the power source of the jack. I set it. I just press a button. It jacks it up. And before jacking it up, I press a button. It loses the tire. I don't have to do the manual labor which the vulcanizer does. I had a system. My wife could change the tire. Now, if you have a flat tire, there is also a rubber that came with a package. All you need to do is to pierce it in the particular hole. It seals it up. So I was talking about this. Little did I know COVID was coming. And do you know that after COVID, so many businesses went down. Why? Because they were not in tune with the future. And let me shock you. As at today, there are some people who are still living in the analog world. Since after COVID, that lockdown, the world never remained the same, and the world will never remain the same again. A lot of things are changing, and it's changing on the speed of thought, not even the speed of light. What you knew 2 hours ago is obsolete this moment. The level of problem you solve determines the level of money you have. People only pay you for the problems you solve, not the problems you talked about, not the problems you identified, not the problems you discovered. They pay you for the solution you bring to the marketplace. If you solve small problems, you get small money. If you solve medium problems, you get medium money. If you solve big problems, you get big money. Guess what? If you solve national problems, you get national money. And if you solve global problems, you get global money. Nobody is paid for discovering problems. Complaining about problems will not solve it. Put on your thinking cap. Think strategically. Engage in what I call brainstorming. If I need $5 million today, I give myself a timeline. What I do is to sit down and ask myself, what problems will I solve that will give me this $5 million? I will start writing. Okay, I can engage in XYZ. Okay, I can do this. I can talk. I can write. I can act. I can sing. I can dance. Now, after listing out all the things I can do, I can cook. I can shop. After listing out all the things I can do, and I come to the first one, I can write. Who needs my writing? What can I write? So you start breaking it. That's called brainstorming. By the time you are done, you will get 5 places you can invest your money in. 5 places you can invest your skill, your energy, your talent that will produce money you need to solve that problem. Am I making sense? Okay. So money simply means what you need to solve the particular problem. Now, those who solve today's problems will survive today. And those who solve tomorrow's problems, today, they have only secured their future. So I want you to start thinking futuristic. Now, this moment, let's move to the principle of sachetization. Whatever you do, you need to think about those at the base of the pyramid. Because making money is about the numbers. The more numbers you have, the more money you make. That's why I have always said that on this channel, there are 4 types of money. There is God money, there is government money, there is crypto money, cyber money, and there is social money. God money has to do with the gold, the things under the ground, the gold, the special metals, the oil. That's God money. Then government money has to do with the naira, the Japanese yen, the pound sterling. The cyber money has to do with the cryptocurrency, while social money is where everybody can leverage on building social network, building the numbers. You can build, you can affect people, you can influence people via the social media. So someone asked me one day, said, how do I make money? If you are listening to this, then you have the secret code shared with you this moment. Build the numbers. The principle of sachetization has to do with you understanding how to break that thing you are selling into bits for every common man to have access to. I remember a few years ago, I decided to break down my trainings, my coaching courses. I decided to run this training at the rate of 2,000 naira, 2,500 naira, 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira, like $5, $10, instead of $250, $300, $500 I used to charge. I brought it down. Guess what? I never left the comfort of my home. I was running this training on WhatsApp. Sometimes I'm hanging out with friends or family. I'm still sharing stuff on WhatsApp, answering questions. Fine. Somebody said to me, oh, I can't do that WhatsApp thing. But guess what? I was making a lot of money. I was charging that in Nigerian currency, 2,500 per person. I fill up like 2 WhatsApp groups. One WhatsApp group, that was before WhatsApp increased the number of persons in a group to about 512. Then it was 256. Okay, so let me take on the average. I charge 2,500, multiply it by 200 persons. I'm making 500k. And by the time I fill 2 WhatsApp groups, I'm making about 1 million naira. And sometimes I charge 5,000 naira for the training. It depends on what I was training on. And by the time I fill 2 WhatsApp groups of 200 persons, I have made my cool 1 million. I do that for 2 WhatsApp groups, I make 2 million. And I do this training, I run these trainings 2 times in a month. I was making my money every quarter. Every quarter I was running, I was still doing the big figure. Now that's the principle of sachetization. When you bring down the price, look for numbers. That's what in economics we call it turnover. Look for numbers. Look for large number of people that will buy that particular product you are selling for a token. Just a little profit margin. I never paid for hall rental. WhatsApp was free. It's the same data I buy, I use for everything I do. I have prepared my templates. I just copy and paste forward to the groups. Answer their question. I use voice notes in some cases. Everything is possible to him that believe. When my friend discovered how much I was making, one day we were talking, I shared my, he said, he was asking me about the training, the impact and all that. When I shared the proceeds I was making with him, he was amazed. He had to learn it and start doing the same thing. Learn what is obtainable, learn what is doable, learn the principle of sachetization. Use it in your business. Now you understand the concept of money. If you apply this principle of sachetization to it, I'm telling you, as we're entering the next quarter, you will be swimming on money upon money. Whatever skill you have, you can sell it. Listen to me, in this era, you can make money from anything and from everything as long as you have access to the internet. I know some persons who don't have social media accounts. They are neither on Facebook nor Instagram. You need to get hold of one. If it's YouTube, but just make sure you are out there, affect lives. So having understand that money is not the paper currency, money is not your ATM card or credit card, money is simply value. The value you bring to the marketplace. Start thinking this moment, what value will I bring to the marketplace that will increase the financial returns in my pocket? Whose problem am I going to solve? And I'm ending this session today with this question: whose problem are you going to solve that will put more money back into your pocket? Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I remain Charles Easy, the FBI coach. See you next week, same time, same station. Have a wonderful day.
This is Financial Intelligence Moment.
Until next week, manage your expenses, increase your income, and keep working towards financial freedom.